Hello, thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. So I'm here to speak to you about First Phosphate. First Phosphate is the only company in the world that is dedicated fully to extracting and purifying phosphate for the lithium iron phosphate battery industry. We hold 1,500 square kilometers of claims that are royalty-free in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region of Quebec. That's just about 2 hours north of here. We plan to employ a prudent partnership-based model to vertically integrate from mine source all the way to the production of LFP cathode active material for the entire North American LFP battery industry. The phosphate is very special. It's an igneous anorthosite. It comprises only 1% of the world's phosphate, and it is the most pure for the purification of phosphate for the LFP battery. When we look at the world of phosphate, what's very interesting is 95% of the world's phosphate is in sedimentary deposit. This phosphate is good for making, fertilizer, and only 10% of this grade of phosphate can be purified up to purified phosphoric acid, which is the precursor for making batteries, LFP batteries. What we have here in Quebec, in this igneous anorthosite, is 1% of the world's purest rock. 90% of that can be purified into purified phosphoric acid for battery production. So what does this mean is the company can be, fully focused on the LFP battery and the downstream technology clients. We can have a mine size that's 8 to 10 times smaller than a sedimentary mine, and our CapEx can be focused on value add. Lastly, and very important, the gypsum that comes off the purification of the phosphate is fully recyclable and can be recycled into plaster, so we have full circular economy. Okay, so what is LFP battery? So, the lithium iron phosphate battery is a type of lithium ion battery. It's sort of like the NMC, nickel, manganese, and cobalt, just that you have iron and phosphate in the cathode. What we see with the LFP battery is that it has the advantage of being non-toxic, superior fire safety, longer life. It's got an easier charge and discharge without memory loss. And it's also got much lower cost, 50 to sometimes 66% lower cost than the other analog NMC batteries. So much so that all the electric vehicle manufacturers in North America, Europe, and Asia are now starting to move a part or all of their production to LFP battery. And it's coming quicker than what we would think. If you look at something like Tesla, Tesla's now got it in 50% of their batteries. What the media has not picked up on is the fact that as soon as Tesla moved into LFP battery, within months, they were cutting their prices by 10, 20, 25%, and they're really starting to hand it to the other EV manufacturers. So this battery is the battery of reducing costs and the battery of mass adoption. And people better watch out for it because it's coming and it's coming quick. So, we're lucky. We're sitting inside of Quebec, obviously great mining jurisdiction. We have the right kind of rock, the igneous phosphate, and we're able to produce a lot of purified phosphoric acid and LFP cathode active material for the industry in North America. This segment is going to be a massive segment. It's growing rapidly. LFP battery is now close to 50% of all batteries in the world, and 90% is made in China. We have to onshore this very quickly into North America, but what are the problems? Problem's not the lithium, right? Phosphate. North American phosphate is already depleting. We only have 10 to 30 years of phosphate left for food. Everything that we have is already destined to the food and the fertilizer industry. There's very little surplus that can go into making purified phosphoric acid. Secondly, what we have is sedimentary rock, so you cannot make a lot of purified phosphoric acid from it. And like I said, the existing reserves are at capacity already in the fertilizer space. So what we are planning and what we're doing, and every day we're getting closer, and it's something that people should really focus on, is in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region of Quebec, we're proposing that become the LFP battery valley of North America, meaning that would be the one central spot where all the elements are necessary for making LFP battery, that would be concentrated in that area, and that we'd be able to provide all of the LFP cathode active material necessary for North America. We have an MOU in place with the Port of Saguenay. Port of Saguenay is now actively marketing itself as a second LFP, the second battery valley after Baie-Concourt. There's 700 hectares of open land. Once you're able to put certain things at the port, like a purified phosphoric acid plant, it then opens the space for cell manufacturer, LFP cathode active material manufacturer, So it could really become the entire battery valley hinged upon the phosphate and the LFP battery. Also, there's been $105 million recently destined by the Quebec government into upgrading the port, the existing port of Saguenay. Secondly, we have an MOU in place with Prayon. Prayon is the world's largest producer of purified phosphoric acid. It's about a 1.4 billion euro turnover business. They are in the food phosphate business in Europe, in Belgium. They'd like offtake on our rock, probably up to 400,000 tons of phosphate concentrate. Also, they have the technology, one of the best in the world for purifying purified phosphoric acid. They'd be willing to do it first time outside of their corporate structure to be able to license that technology to us and to also become partners in the purified phosphoric acid plant at Saguenay. Lastly, they have worked in LFP manufacture in Belgium and also in China, so they'd be interested in entering that market with us as well. When we look at the estimated demand for LFP cathode active material in North America, we're just taking small EVs here, like just the normal passenger cars. You might need up to 700,000 tons of LFP cathode active material. That's a business turnover of about 18 billion. If you were to take buses and trucks, you could just double that. And then if you were to get into a large scale energy storage or small scale energy storage, you could double that again. But we're just being conservative here. We're taking a very conservative number just on EVs alone. I don't know if you knew, but only 5% of that production has already been sort of destined by some subsidies that came out from the US government to the DOE. So there's a full 95% of this category that has to be fulfilled. And there's nowhere in North America to get this phosphate other than what First Phosphate is doing. So we're very comfortable that the company is sitting, right at the epicenter of what will become the LFP battery valley of North America, and that we're sitting on, the best resources to do that. So this is how we see First Phosphate and what we believe will be the ecosystem developing in North America. And we believe that we are the catalyst of this ecosystem that's being developed. So what we do is we extract at the mine site at about 5 or 10% phosphate. We quickly concentrate that up to about 41%. The theoretical max of phosphate inside of its host mineral, which is apatite, is 42%. So we get up to about 97% pure apatite, which is 41% phosphate. The next closest thing is 30% Moroccan phosphate. So we're a full 40 to 45% higher than the purest form of phosphate that you'll find in sedimentary world. We announced our phosphate pilot plant just yesterday. We have a recovery of 91%. And we also have secondary recoveries of titanium, that is ilmenite, and also magnetite, which is iron. You can see that on our website. A full 10-minute video of the pilot plant is available. Quite proud to say that that was done here in Quebec at SGS's facilities in Quebec. Now, what we're doing is we're sending a 900 kilogram sample of phosphate concentrate over to Prayon in Belgium. They're going to be processing that to purified phosphoric acid. With those samples, they'll be going out to a number of parties that we're under NDA with, parties that are desperately looking for a source of North American phosphate. That's on the ESG scale, which doesn't exist. We're creating a category here. Once that's done, we have a partnership already with IPL. It's a company out of the UK that's got a pilot, it's building a pilot plant to make LFP cathode active material. They will be using our material to make LFP cathode active material and potentially some small battery cells. There's a number of other manufacturers that are asking for samples of our product. Once you get to LFP cathode active material, and again, one of the advantages is we got Quebec Hydro, which, it's very hydro-dependent process. So it's great that we're completely green all the way to the making of LFP cathode active material. Then this would be able to be shipped across North America to those that, make battery cells or assemble EVs. So it's really important to think that, across North America, there's only one spot, and that's perhaps right here in Quebec, where we could supply all of the LFP battery cathode active material. It could be something like $100 billion business. And if we took, 5% of that, 10% of it, well, we could probably take up to 70, 80% of it. So I just want to flip here. This is the Port of Saguenay. Right up here is Alma. That's where the Rio Tinto facilities are. This is sort of already the aluminum valley of North America. A lot of the aluminum in all the cars in North America is being produced in here, shipped out of here, and goes down to, you know, the heart of auto manufacturing country in North America. So we've got great infrastructure in here. We've also got the whole forestry industry in here. We've got a populace that likes to live, work, and play around industry. We're very fortunate for that. We got, you know, very good social acceptability. Our first project here, Lac Colonial, is about 50 million tons between inferred and indicated. We've got a 43-101 on it. We're moving into PEA, which was telegraphed for the end of this year. It's going to come in earlier. And after that, we'd like to move into feasibility. We're very well supported by CEMAX and Conférence Régionale des Élus in the area out here. They really want to see this development happen. We've locked up all the claims in between the Port of Saguenay and about 200 kilometers north of there, because we saw a real vision here. We really saw this whole phosphate region developing, and we wanted to own it all. We didn't want any interference. So we started to do surface samples on all of these 15 other areas that we have here. We're finding phosphate everywhere. Right here, fortunately, at 75 kilometers from the deep sea port, 5 kilometers from paved road, in between two ex-forestry villages that are desperately in need of revitalization and want to have the work, we found what might be, you know, 3 times the amount of phosphate at La Coloniale, and with higher grade. It might be the highest phosphate that's ever been found in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region of Quebec. We're right near hydro. We're very excited for this project. And, you know, we continue to investigate on our blue sky properties. We believe this area of Quebec has potentially decades, if not 100 years of phosphate to supply all of electrification for all of North America. I don't know if that really impacts anybody in here, if anybody can really conceive what that is. Because we always talk about electrification, we always talk about the shortage of minerals. I can tell you the phosphate is here. All the phosphate that's necessary for LFP, slowly, surely, over time, over the next years, decades, it can all be come out of Quebec. And this valley can eventually be known as, you know, the LFP battery valley of Quebec, and maybe forestry and aluminum might be second or third. So, you know, these are some of our milestones. We're a company that's been working hard, you know, despite the fact that we've only been in life for a year. Got a 43-101 at La Coloniale. We're coming out with a PEA very soon. We developed a phosphate concentrate pilot plant in under a year. We continue drilling at Bégin-La-Marche. We've done 4,000 meters. We're doing another 2,000 meters now just to get into our 43-101 there. We've done massive surface sampling on all of our blue sky properties. We continue to do that. We know there's many other areas of phosphate within our claims. We're now moving to purified phosphoric acid with, you know, the world's largest producer of purified phosphoric acid. We had that deal done within 6 months of being in life. And now we're moving to our PEA at La Coloniale as well, as I mentioned earlier. Interestingly enough, we're also upgrading our ilmenite and our magnetite to make iron sulfate and iron powder, which also goes in the manufacture of LFP cathode active material. So again, you know, key advantages: assembled a world-class team, management team, very broad team, major North American players, major international players, manageable mine size near infrastructure. We're trying to keep the CapEx costs low, and we're trying to keep the value added high. So it's a rare opportunity to go from mine all the way to LFP cathode active material, and we have you know, lots of blue sky properties around us. We're a very tight share structure. 35% is SEDI filed by our management and our board. Other 35% is, you know, friends and family. There's maybe a small 30% float that's out there. $25 million market cap. LFP battery valley of North America, Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, Quebec, $25 million market cap. These markets are crazy and they're completely dislocated. So that's me. I've got a background in technology. I've got a background in capital markets. Get up every day, work very hard, try to encourage my team, very hands-on. And I plan to see this project through. Peter Kent is our president. He's also the ex-minister of the environment under Harper. He keeps us on the short and narrow, especially as involves the environment. We got Gary Siskos in the audience. Maybe Gary, just left your hand, our new CEO and CFO. who's got all the great modeling experience that we need for the next steps here. Okay, that's it. I think I made it just on time. Thank you very much.
A unique and exciting opportunity. Okay.